Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the Recovery from Relapse Overeaters Anonymous meeting of Tuesday, the 29th of December. And today we have a wonderful speaker, Val O, who is going to talk to us with her experience, strength, and hope. Take it away, Val.
Thanks very much, Rita. Hi, everyone. I'm Val O, and I'm a compulsive overeater, and I'm abstinent today by the grace of God. That's my higher power. I call my higher power God. So I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but because I know some people are a bit find God difficult, but it's just simpler for me to call my higher power God. So that was a long intro. So I just want to take a moment to say the set aside prayer for myself as well, because I just have prayed to God today that I say something that will help somebody, because it's a big meeting and there's a lot of newcomers and you can be bombarded by information and overwhelmed and fall at the first hurdle. So I just like to say, God, please help me set aside everything I think I know about myself, my brokenness, my spiritual path, and you, for an open mind and a new experience of myself, my brokenness, my spiritual path, and especially you. So the focus is recovery, or recovery from relapse, and I certainly qualify. I am a grateful survivor of relapse. My relapse was over 10 years, and I was out of the rooms for those years, trying to manage life on my own and thinking I was doing an okay job, and also wondering why everything was going so wrong. So my overeating and my addiction behavior started as a child. I remember craving my sister's baby food, and I was 4, and I can still taste it. And I know I craved all sorts of foods. I certainly craved attention, and I felt disconnected from my parents, who I know adored me. Now I know now, but I didn't feel it at the time. And I realize now, looking back, that my disease is a disease of never enough. Nothing was ever good enough. My parents' love was not good enough. The present they gave me wasn't good enough. The food they gave me, the food I have and here, what I did there. Oh, this is my family. This is my house. This is my school. This is where I live. Oh, and life was a constant disappointment to me, though I didn't know it at the time. And it's only when I look back now that I see it. And when I was in 1996, I was hit by a Ford Escort on the back of my leg, on the back of my thigh. And I say it's the biggest kick up the arse that God ever gave anybody, because it just stopped me in my tracks. And I had to sit still for the first time and realize I was very unhappy. And in living in a family that was a crazy family, I was 27, and I was still living at home with an alcoholic mother and dysfunctional family. And there was lots going on, but I was just hiding in the house and eating. And early versions of computers just got addicted to very, simple pixelated games, and, just basically went to work, ate, played games, went to work, did a jigsaw puzzle while knitting and watching reruns of an old television program at the same time, lest I think of anything. So I'm a natural self-avoider and isolator. That's my natural habitat. So the COVID lockdown has been actually wonderful for me, because I'm naturally, find it difficult to be around other people because they don't think the way I do, and I have to adjust what I'm thinking and take other people into consideration, when I'm much better being autonomous, alone, and isolated in my disease and in my, my self-will. So I loved the friendly beginning of this meeting, because it just made me a little bit more relaxed. I realized that everybody is kind of very human and friendly around here. So that was great. Um, and just when you said admit all, I admit all. I admit all. I admit all my defects. I admit that I am totally powerless over food, that my life is completely unmanageable without the help of a higher power and a set aside attitude, because I'm a great manager. I'm very competent, I'm very clever, I have lots of opinions on things. And unfortunately, they are the very stuff of my disease. I cannot run my life. My life is completely and totally unmanageable if I run it my way. And I have to rely on a power greater than myself. And I realized in the last few months that when I hand over anything 100% to my higher power, it gets taken care of. I just have to trust and be willing. So I was in other fellowships as well early on. My car accident, the kick up the arse that God gave me, got me into Al-Anon. And then I found my way into OA, realizing that I had a weight, eating problem and that it was my fault. I couldn't blame my mother anymore. And I started to work the program in OA around the year 2000, but I wasn't willing to put the food down. And I was going, why would I stop eating? It's working. Why would I do that? That just seemed insane to me. Because the other program had taught me I was to love myself no matter what. And I did. I started to think I was great, and just that is a side effect, and the overeating, I just have to do it because I can't survive without it. So I'm just going to keep doing that. And I'm happy, clappy, at Serenity. I was absolutely there. And then in about 2010, and I gave service. I sponsored people, God bless them. I don't know, I don't think, I certainly didn't recover. And in 2009, I met a man, and I thought, oh my goodness, I can have a relationship with a person instead of food. I had arrived. I was having a relationship. This is unbelievable. Married this guy. I won't say too much about it, but I learned a lot and realized, that was not for me, and that ended pretty soon. But I am very, very gratefully the possessor of two beautiful children, and those children kept me alive in the years of relapse. And it wasn't until March this year, after the COVID lockdown, that I realized that I was going to die of this disease. For the first 3 to 4 weeks of lockdown, I was delighted with myself. I could isolate, I could eat, I rang, food was delivered, I ate everything around me. I must have put on a stone, which is 14 pounds for you Americans, in the first 3 or 4 weeks of lockdown. And I realized I was standing in my kitchen, pacing up and down like a tiger, going, what can I do? What can I do? What can I eat? It doesn't work anymore. And I knew that I was defeated. Food was my master, and it didn't work anymore. And I really felt like Bill felt, in the morass of quicksand, knowing that there was absolutely nothing I could do about it. And I was trying to think, what could I say about recovery from relapse? What has been different? What's different this time around, And I really think that leads me on to my whoa. I've called it the whoa. So W for weakness. And that is the thing that to be totally defeated and know that I am totally defeated. I'm going to die of this disease, and I'm not going to fit in any coffin. I was almost 300 pounds. I couldn't bend down. I couldn't reach my feet. I couldn't get in a bath. I couldn't reach parts of me. I couldn't manage to even dry myself after a shower or anything. I was too cumbersome. I had too much flesh. It was just so difficult. And I just knew I was going to die, and it wouldn't be fast, and it wouldn't be pretty, and it would just be it. But I realized that I was utterly defeated. And I think that demoralization and defeat was the first weakness, to know that I cannot do this. Left to VAL power, I'm going to die. Left to VAL power, I just eat and eat and eat and treat other people badly and domineer and control and give out and criticize, judge, all those things that I do in my disease. The second is willingness. I had to be willing. I had to be desperately willing to do whatever I was told, and I was willing to do anything to recover. I knew I only have two alternatives. There's no third alternative. I turn to the food and I die. For to drink is to die, to eat is to die. Or I turn to my higher power, and I turn to a sponsor, my fellows, and they tell me to do things and I do them. And I've had this willingness come from somewhere. It is a grace. The admission and the willingness is a grace from God, because I I don't know where it comes from. I can't tell you what to do to get it either. I don't know how. So look, if you're a struggling person at the moment, suffering in the rooms, if you're a newcomer and you just don't know where to turn, just keep coming back and keep listening, because it's here. The miracle is absolutely here. You just have to be ready to hear it. And I was ready in March. That's all I can say. Is that's the only difference, is that I was totally weakened, and I was totally willing. And the third will is wonder and awe, and set aside, like I am in awe of the program and in wonder at the possibilities of my life now. In the last, I think I have my days written down here, 239 days of abstinence from salt, sugar, fat, excess food. I weigh and measure my food, and I'm willing to do it one day at a time, one meal at a time, 1 hour at a time. And I have been granted, because I said to my higher power right at the beginning, I said, you have to make this easy for me. I can't do this. I can't stay abstinent for more than 10 minutes. I couldn't. I was constantly eating, constantly. But in those 239 days, I have lost 60 pounds, which is 4.5 stone, just following the, I know it's a miracle, but it's not me doing it, because I've never managed to do that. I've never been a slim adult. I'm still not a slim adult, but I had a bath last night and I can fit in the bath. That was one hell of a risk I took last night. I was scared, because I've had a couple of panic attacks in baths where I haven't been able to get out of them because I've been so big. I haven't been able to, first of all, fit in them. Second of all, I haven't been able to literally turn over and lift myself up to get out of one. And I have a bad shoulder. So I was going, oh my God, what if I can't get out? So that was a miracle. Just last night, I took a bath, and I can't say I enjoyed it because I was terrified, but I was able to get in, I was able to get out, I was able to wash myself. And that, I can't tell you what that means. Because I had disabled myself. Left to my will, I was disabled. My mobility, I'm only 52, and I couldn't get into a bath. I couldn't get out of a bath. I couldn't walk. I couldn't bend over. I couldn't pick up my children's toys. I couldn't, they were low. I couldn't walk up the stairs. Couldn't walk up the stairs carrying anything. So the big book tells us that visual proof is the weakest proof. So my weight, while it's a huge gift, that's not the biggest gift. That's not the biggest gift. The biggest gift is knowing that I have a choice, that I have a choice to live in my disease, in the craziness of my head, doing the same thing over and over again and wondering why it's not worth it. Living in the bedevilments of life, page 52, I love the bedevilments. I'm just going to read them in the first person. They're on page 52 in the middle paragraph if you're interested in reading along, or just listen. So what was happening in my life? I was having trouble with my personal relationships. I couldn't control my emotional nature. I was prey to misery and depression. I couldn't make a living. I had a feeling of uselessness. I was full of fear. I was unhappy. I couldn't seem to be of real help to other people. I was restless, irritable, discontent, and I was bang face first in the food. And they were what I was doing all the time. And the thing is, when you read these bedevilments, you go, no wonder I'm a compulsive overeater. No wonder. Um, that's what every human in the whole world faces. Everybody faces those difficulties, those bedevilments. They're not special for us. They're just not special for us. They are what every flawed human being feels in the world. The difference between we addicts and normies, muggles, the non-magical folk, is that they don't try and kill themselves with food just because things aren't going their way. I do. And even if I don't die immediately, I die spiritually. My life is full of futility and rubbishness and disappointment, and nothing's ever good enough. As I said, my disease is a disease of more, more, more. Nothing is ever good enough. So I am a really, really grateful member of OA. I said, what daily practice do I do now that keeps me well? Because it is only one day at a time. What do I have to do today to get well today? And I do my prayer and meditation. I'd set aside a number of prayers. I do different prayers every day, actually. Some are written down prayers from the big book, some are from my head, some are just, help me God, or thank you God, they're prayers. The fear prayer is very useful. So if anybody's feeling fear or any of those things today, God, relieve me of my fear and direct my attention to what you would have me be. So what you would have me be, not what you would have me do. Who am I to be? So I use that one a lot. Um, I do outreach every day. I try to do at least 3 calls. And because I'm based in the Melbourne meeting, and I've been going to that for the last 7 months, I have people in the first thing in the morning, I ring Australia. In the daytime, I can ring basically anyone in Europe or America. And then in the evenings, I usually talk to America and the West Coast of America. Sounds like I'm broadcasting, but you know what I mean. I talk to 1 or 2 fellows in those places, and that's my pattern. And I have a plan of eating, which is based on the Dignity of Choice plan number 1. And I've just been following that. I just stick to it no matter what. And I have had some white knuckling days. Some days, the tiger roars, but I just go, shut up. I'm not interested. It's not even an alternative for me. I think twice I have had food on a plate that I was going to have and said to my higher power, look, if I'm not supposed to have this, will you give me a sign? And I got a sign both times. The phone rang, and I just put the food into the bin, and I just said, okay, I'll follow what you said. God saves me all the time, actually. I ask his protection and care with complete abandon, and it works. I can't explain it any other way. I don't know how it works. I wish I could tell you what the formula is, except it's just the willingness, weakness, willingness, and wonder and awe. Then to just look around you and see what's around you. See the love. I had to look around me and see the love that was already in my life, instead of always looking for the next thing, the next meal, the next present, the next day. Next year will be better. What's here is now. And my family are my family now. I'm me, imperfect that I am. And I just try to look for the love that's in my life already, because I am one of those lucky people that, my circumstances, actually, I probably should say that though, that when I said I was standing in the kitchen rocking, thinking, well, I can't eat, and my bottom, I call that my rock bottom. That was my moment of rock bottom. But my situation in life, I had the job I wanted, I had the house I wanted, I have the family I wanted, I had a lot going for me, and I was still eating my face off, because I would eat over anything, because I just can't handle I don't have a food problem. I have a life problem. My problem is with my life. And when my life gets unmanageable, which it is all the time, because I can't manage it on my own, I used to turn to food, and now I turn to God. And really, there's only 2 doors, door A or door B. There's no other choices for me. And thank God, by the grace of God, I have chosen for 239 days to choose God each time. And I am struck all the time by the wonder and awe of it. I can't believe that's not 20 minutes yet. Did somebody say time and I didn't notice? I feel like I've gone on for ages. And I don't want to go on for too long. Just to say that this is a fatal disease. It does kill you. And if it doesn't kill you physically, it kills you spiritually. The medicine we take is the 12 steps. Didn't mention them. I suppose I should mention them. The 12 steps in the big, I like the big book for me is the only literature I use at the moment. I constantly have it with me, or I listen to it on audio book. I find that great when I'm driving. I love Bill's story is my absolute favorite. And of course, Acceptance Was the Answer is a story later on in the book by Dr. Paul O. He's very interesting. If you listen to the podcast of him too on YouTube and you hear him speaking, he's hilarious. And so I suppose I've been looking for emotional sobriety, not just freedom from food. And I'm on a quest now to find emotional sobriety, to be comfortable in my own skin, to have freedom, and to wear my recovery like a loose garment, they say, that it's comfortable and it's got freedom. I have a wonderful sponsor, and she says her abstinence, and I've definitely taken that on, is freedom within a corral. So you've got these limits of what you can. I can't have anything outside that, but just have a little bit of, because I was starting to get addicted to rigidity at the beginning, because I was willing to put everything down. I put down everything, and I ate 3 meals a day, but very limited amounts. So now I'm trying to let go of my rigidity around that. So that's also a freedom for me too. So I really feel like I'm coming to the end, but I hope. Yeah, that felt about right. Thank you so much. But I am so honored to have been asked to come here today. I hope what I've said has helped somebody. You know, the how of the program is honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. H for honesty, O for open-mindedness, W for willingness. And it's that attitude, I think, that has been the difference between relapse and recovery. And I have a great gift to the gab, and I remember 12 years ago getting up at a convention in Birmingham. Some of you may even have heard of me. I've had a moment, I've decided, these evangelistic crap that I came up with. And it was all talk, because I could talk for Ireland. But the difference is I'm walking the walk now. I'm really doing this. And well, actually, that's not true. I'm not really doing this. I'm willing to do this. And God is doing for me what I can't do for myself. And I think I'd like to leave it at that. Thanks for listening, everybody. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Val. Thank you so much for your story. That was wonderful.